like, is this good enough? Guys, first off, please understand I'm not an art teacher. I'm not grading how well you draw. We can label using math labels, especially if our, guys, we don't need to rip any of this apart right now. We're just checking it, and then we need 1, 2, 8 for the lesson, I believe. Actually, no, I misspoke with that. But we need this out for checking homework. So let's just go ahead and look at that. It'll make more sense when we talk about it. But we can use mathematical symbols for any of our like drawing not being awesome. We can use math symbols to fix that. Very similar to what we did in class yesterday. The probability of either blue or green. And guys, like I've said before, I don't care if this isn't done. You might have had soccer last night or whatever. What I care is if you don't understand this. So I don't care if you have the problem done yet or not. If you have a question, you need to ask it. In 1, 2, 4, this or situation, we talked yesterday about or makes things easier. Blue will make me happy, and so will green. So if blue has a 1/5 chance, and green has a 3/10 chance, we want to put those together, right? Like when we added with the pie or with the spinner. Sort of like down here, guys. 125. Guys, my best advice for homework is if a problem's too hard, skip it, circle back to it. If 124 was too hard, hopefully when you came down to 125, this reminded you, oh yeah, I need to put these things together. I need to add them. Any questions with 124? And then I will show the rest of 125. We get 3/4 when we put our green and our purple sections together. Any questions on those? I kind of tried to show in my picture how the 1/2 becomes 2/4. And guys, this is the work I'm looking to see. Like times 2 on top and bottom, times 2 on top and bottom. That's like, and this is not a lot of work to write out, right? You could be frantically copying this right now and or going back to the video. Like, if you want to try to play sneaky games, you can up until you take the mastery. And then when it comes to the mastery, our grading system will fix any sneakiness that has happened. With these problems, there are a lot of ways to do them. This is not the only way. But my brain, probably because I'm like the youngest child, my brain says, like, what has been done that I need to undo? Right? Like when my brother or sister would play pranks on me, it's like, well, what did they do? What do I have to undo? Right? What do I have to do to get back to my normal bedroom? What do I have to take off of my car so I can drive it again? Right? My brother and sister, my friends, we used to like to mess with each other's cars. So if somebody adds 8 balloons into my car, I should probably remove 8 balloons from my car. Whatever. Analogies are kind of tough right now. But if X has 8 added to it, to get back to just X, we got to take that 8 that's added away. And if I do it on one side, I got to do it on both. Some of you guys know this is like the seesaw or the balance. It's really an equation. To keep something equal, you have to be fair. Ava, pull up your mask. Guys, I don't know if you've, like, I'm your math teacher, so I'm always just going to be straight with the math with you guys. Guys, the pediatric rate, the kid rate of COVID is double that of adults right now. Kids are getting sick a lot faster than adults because we're back in school and kids aren't wearing their masks. That's why I'm being a giant pain in the butt out in the halls yelling at kids that aren't even ours to put their masks back on. I would like to stay in school. So, like, no one's in trouble. I'm just here to remind you, let's wear our masks correctly. Also, if I haven't covered this, my wife is a health professional. She works for the Ohio Department of Health. So I'm pretty connected with how things actually are. If I took 32 away from X, I got to put 32 back on to get it back to all of X. Like if my sister borrowed $32 out of my piggy bank, she better put that $32 back in it. You don't have a piggy bank anymore? How do you save up for a new bicycle?
That way you don't gotta pay for
I tripled. Oh, guys, here's the thing I should be remembering. Sorry, my brain was in Math 8 mode. This is the guess my number thing, right? Back when we were doing the guess my number. So if triple of my mystery number is 54, what is my mystery number? Well, undo that tripling by dividing, and we get 18. If my mystery number, when divided by 5, gets 10, what was that original number? It's got to be 50. On 27, okay, 127. I'm just lazy. On 127, the first coordinate is always the x. Always comes from the horizontal axis. So that first number comes from here. That's why I highlighted those in pink. This is why you shouldn't do math in pen. Prime example right there. There's no going back. And now I get to weird flex on you guys that I am way better than you at drawing shapes.
Whoa.
I'm a total liar. I am not better than you at drawing shapes. I have stencils. Here's the deal. In my room, only in my room, you can borrow anything of mine, right? I'm not saying this for any other teacher, but as long as it's not back here in my cabinets, because that's where I had all my junk food, you can borrow anything of mine, including these shapes templates. It's called a geometry template, which are right up here for now. They'll probably move over there just because, I don't know, they might. But for now, they're right here. They'll always be in a thing like this. So it has pretty much every shape on it. I have limited copies of this, so if you need it, come ask me. I have a circles template back here. I also have some bullet journaling templates. Like, I've just bought some random templates. So if you're looking for some templates, yeah, come borrow them. But here's what I was talking about, using symbols. So if our drawing isn't perfect, we use the symbols to fix it. Your rectangle needs to, guys, I'm telling you, when I grade your papers, I'm going to look for this. You need to have these right angle symbols. The little boxes in the corner tell us that each of those corners is 90 degrees. Doesn't matter how hot or cold it is outside, it's always 90 degrees in the corner. I have a poster, it's just not up yet because my walls suck. My posters won't hang on any of the cinder block. I'm lucky that one hasn't fallen yet. The only one on the cinder block, essentially. Yeah, the one has an insane amount of wax and stuff behind it. Shouldn't actually happen. So the rectangle and the square both need to have those 90s in the corners. And you don't need to write 90 degrees. That's the point of the box. The box tells us that. The parallelogram is not a parallelogram unless it has these markings. Guys, I'm telling you, it's not a parallelogram unless it has the two opposite sides being parallel with each other and the other two opposite sides being parallel with each other. Notice one set has different markings than the other. We cannot use the same markings for both sets, because otherwise we'd be saying they're all parallel with each other, and that's impossible because they hit. Like, this line can't be parallel with that line. Now, if you want to be real technical, you don't need this. But I had a student ask me, aren't these angles equal? Yeah, you don't need to show that, but they are. Also, these other angles are also equal to each other, but we don't need to show that yet. In your trapezoid, I would make it look exactly like mine because a lot of us are still struggling with the trapezoid. The bases are parallel, so they have the parallel marks. Remember, parallel is like train tracks. They will never touch each other. Parallel means if those lines kept going, they'll never touch each other. And the two tracks for a train will never touch each other. Even if they cross a different set of tracks, those two tracks for a train will never touch. Scaling means bad. Like, sometimes, you might tell your little brother or little sister they're being scalene. No, I'm joking. Scaling means nothing is the same. So scaling means all three sides are different. All three angles are different. Just nothing is the same. So there's no special markings here. You could, if you really wanted, you could say 1, 2, and 3. I like that. They're 3 different lengths, but you don't need to. You totally don't need to. The only last thing we need is this right corner in the right triangle, which is what makes it right. I wish. No, a right triangle cannot be scalene because scalene literally means there's nothing like special, nothing particularly like scalene just means like it's random in a way. A right triangle has one defined angle. Like it has to have the defined angle. So none of these angles are special. If 2 of these angles were the same, it would become isosceles. And if one of them is 90, it's a right. If one of them is 90 and 2 of them are the same, it's a right isosceles. And then only these 2 could be the same, and they would have to be 45. Nah, you tell me. All right, and our final. People are still struggling with trapezoid a lot, so I'm telling you right now, neither of these are trapezoids, but there's going to be a trapezoid on your test. We already looked at your test yesterday. I keep forgetting to do that with the morning class. Guys, we're getting to that point where I will count it wrong if you don't have labels. Or actually, I won't count it wrong. I'll just put a line after your number with a question mark, and you'll have to go back and put the label in, and you'll be annoyed that you're turning in a revision just for labels. Do you know how you can avoid that? Label your numbers. It's a pretty easy solution. And then we discussed this more. Oh, if there's any questions here, we don't use the 41 for area. Because remember, this works like a rectangle. If I chop this off and put it on the other side, it works just like a rectangle. Now, so does a triangle, except that it's half. So we look for the right angle. This is a right triangle, but if it's not a right triangle, we just look for the dotted line that drops down, like up here in the trapezoid. We had an example of the dotted line dropping down. And actually, this would have a little right angle on it too, if we're being technical. So down here, base times height is our 56 times our 73. And we do half of that, which is how we got to 2044. If you have 4088, you forgot to do the half. If you have 4088, you just forgot to do the half. Question. I know we spent a while doing homework today, but tomorrow is wrapping up the chapter, essentially. So if we don't finish today's lesson today, we can finish it tomorrow. All right, go ahead and put that away and get out some graph paper. This is not Estes. I go, everyone immediately is like, wait, Estes? Is he like the coolest? Or is it Mr. Combs? Estes is the coolest. So, if you could label your paper 130 for me, please. Actually, if you want to put a label on your paper, if you caught it here on the first slide, what we're doing today is subtracting probabilities. Yeah, I can't draw a straight line with a mouse. I mean, you can, but we're not going to stay on that slide, so it's not really purposeful. So Eustace, and guys, we're going to random card a lot of stuff today, right? So when I say talk as a group, please talk about the math before you talk about who's dating who. Look, I know, all you guys ever want to do is spill the tea. Okay, did anybody just see that? In the middle of me writing, my smartboard just changed to red, but it's still on blue. I think there's a ghost. Like, I think it's talking. You just said that we're not getting off topic. Yeah, I'm the worst at that. Eustace must have not been paying attention yesterday because his teacher goes, Eustace, you need to talk with a friend. And Eustace is like, no, I did what you said, teacher. I added the fractions. And she's like, nah, good try. But no. So what advice will we give Eustace about what he accidentally did?
Cooper Forms and Sammy Kisplain, please come to the Perry office. Thank you.
Talk with your teammates first. What did Eustace accidentally do? He fell on a trapdoor that, isn't that uncommon. And what should he do? Okay? Take a minute or two. What did he accidentally do? What should he do? Okay, well, I need to be possessed by math. Then we can be possessed by grace. What did Eustace accidentally do? When he didn't do that, you're right. What did he accidentally do? He added for. So he treated this like multiplication, right? You go across the top, across the bottom. Not what we're supposed to do. Do it right, then once you figure out what Eustace did wrong, you write it down, Jen. Write it down. Check on the people hiding back there in the corner. All good. It doesn't matter who sits back there. It's the corner. So you gotta check on the corner because it's back there. You said wait. So, forget about the order of the questions. What did you not do that you should? Right, and what did you accidentally do? Yeah, you just added straight across, bottom and top. You know what? This is normally dangerous because there's a lot of you and only one of me. But I'm going to go class answer, which means y'all just shout it out because I think all of us know it. So, first question. What did Eustace not do? Common denominators. What did he accidentally do? Yeah, and guys, here's the trick. Guys, math, for as much as I love math, there's a lot of things I really don't like about math. Multiplication, you do multiply straight through the top and straight through the bottom. Multiplication is what Eustace is thinking about. Eustace isn't dumb or anything like that. This is what you would do when multiplying. But the addition is actually harder.
Miller, will you please come to the Perry office? Victor Miller.
So he added 2 and 4, but we're not allowed to do that. If we were multiplying, we could multiply them. But if I go to make a common denominator, what should my common denominator be here?
4.
2. 2 or 4. 2 because it's simplified.
So wait. Do common denominators have to be bigger? No. If we can go smaller, so we know this is wrong. So Robert's saying this can become a denominator of 2. Can I rewrite this as 1/2 plus, what's 2 over 4 reduced to? 1/2.
If there's 4 is divisible of 2, and so is the numerator. So it's easier to just make them smaller.
I really don't know where the random red is coming from, but I'm getting a little nervous. Now, if we made it, guys, make sure that I'm able to make jokes, so make sure we don't overreact. If we wanted to make this into a 4, we could do times 2 times 2. But remember, we want to show our work. If we're using the denominator of 2, what are we multiplying by here? This was on your homework, and I had to help somebody with it earlier. And then they were like, they had like a facepalm moment of like, of course I'm allowed to do that. Chloe?
1, because 4 times 1 is 4.
It's not. If I want to make this into a 2.
I think I know what you're talking about.
But I don't want to divide.
Too bad.
Daniel?
0.5.
Yeah,
Oh,
1/2.
that works.
Are we allowed to multiply by fractions? You betcha.
How dare you comment about me?
I did not say your name.
But I know you just called yourself
You
out.
did have a moment where you were like, of course.
You literally just called yourself out. I know, because I don't care.
That's because Vera is like bold enough to come to me and be like, yo, you gotta explain this. Like, which is, you guys gotta do your job. You gotta make me help you. Alright, Lindsay. Okay. This is gonna make me sound old.
Zero.
Sorry, actually, I'm embracing being old. I just am waiting for my AARP and my Golden Buckeye card so I can get discounts. Penny candy. There literally used to be candy that cost a penny. It was normally like the flavored Tootsie Rolls. So think about flavored Tootsie Rolls, right? If you've never had them, they're awesome. So Tutti Fruities. Lindsay's got Tutti Fruities. Tutti Fruities are essentially flavored Tootsie Rolls. She's got a bag of them. Now, hold up. Before we start talking about the bag, I want you guys to have this question in the back of your mind. How many candies, could she have? Because there's not just any, she can't have just like any amount of candy. Okay, so keep that question in the back of your mind. She tells us, if you reach into the bag, your chance of killer kiwi, you should write this down, is 1/3. The chance of crazy coconut. I've got the lovely bunch of coconuts. They are all standing in a row. 2, 3, 4. Big one, small one, some the size of your head. What is? I forgot what movie that's from, but I didn't make it up. It's Robin Williams. Is it Lion King? Yeah, it is Lion King. As big as your head. That's I got the words wrong. So chat with your teammates. First question. What's coconut or kiwi? Sorry, is that too dark? So what's probably a coconut or kiwi? Second question. Is there a third flavor? Is there another flavor? And third question, how many candies could Lindsay possibly have in the bag? Because it's not just anything. Take a few minutes, chat with each other. I'll flip the 5-minute timer and try to leave you alone. If you don't have this stuff written down yet, I'm going to write up here what should be on your paper to give you another chance to get it down before I walk around. Oh my gosh. I think I need to like close my software and restart it or something. I think it's defaulting to the last thing I wrote with.
Oh my god.
You know what? Forget the smartboard software. I'm using the built-in software.
Take that
Hey, crazy coconut. It was 3/5, right? Okay. Hey, if you're just making random noises, you need to be better, please. We're better than that. We're in 7th grade. We're better than that, too. No, it did not scare you to the point of reacting like that. I called out Jake. I'm going to call out anyone who does that. We're more mature than that, and if you're not, you can stay after and we can talk about it. Thank you. We're moving on. So, 1/3 and 3/5. Where are our cards? Where are our cards? What? It's my, noise for processing. I need to shuffle. Oh, that they were going to make an announcement, and then they decided not to, which is extremely annoying. Because that's when they, pick up their thing for, announcing. It's to get your attention. look, they're fixing it in October. Sorry we can't get it fixed any sooner. Right now we're getting both Perry and Phoenix feed. This is Phoenix.
Interruption. Will Amelia Hudson please come to the Perry office? Amelia Hudson, thank you.
Our secretary must have had to go home while they're paging people to the Perry office. So, Landon, can I add 1/3 and 3/5? Not how they are right now. What do we need to do to it? Well, to get, yeah, as our denominator, right? You're just using less vocab than what I'm searching for. So, if we're going to multiply to get to a denominator of 15, what do we multiply by here? We need to get in that better habit we talked about yesterday, right? So please on your paper make sure that we write 5/5 and show that it is a fraction of 5/5. What do we multiply by here?
3/3.
Yeah, nice way to say it, 3/3. So this becomes, so guys remember, multiplying, we do the top and we do the bottom. This is where Eustace made his mistake. Because he thought it was the same as multiplication. Over here, for coconut, 9/15. So now, Phoebe, what are you thinking? Does there have to be a third flavor? You're good. You're still writing. You guys can always pass. You can just say pass. Chloe, what do you think? Does there need to be a third flavor? Well, what do you mean? I'm hoping for you to tell me what to do that gets us to...
Yeah, so you multiply,
We did the multiplication.
you have to add 5/15 to 9.
So we put these together to figure out what probability we've taken up so far. What do we get? 14/15. Is that everything?
No, there's one
There.
We're missing, right? We need to get to 1. Probability needs to fill up the whole thing. So we're missing 1/15.
Lazy lemon.
Sure. 1/15 is something else, is another flavor. So,
An interruption, Phoenix. If Mallory Pullen could please come to the main office. Mallory
So
Pullen.
Stella,
Thank you.
what are our possibilities for total candy? And I can give you some leading questions if you want. Could they only have 3 pieces of candy in the bag? So I'm asking Stella. And yeah, so thank you for saying that. Guys, that's like the perfect thing to say. If you don't understand what I'm asking, I'm not that great of a teacher. I'm just like, I make bad jokes and I do some math and they just let me keep doing my thing. What we're wondering here is this bag that we only know probability of. We don't know actual number of candy. But since we know probability, this restricts us. Because some numbers don't become 100 nicely. You should have seen this on your homework where like 16, trying to turn 16 into 100, not nice. But so here, we got to keep this nice. Could I have 15 pieces of candy in the bag? Yeah, because then 1/15 works out, 5/15 works out, 9/15 works out. Could I have 20 pieces of candy in the bag? Who can explain why? Raise your hand. Sophia? Sorry, say that louder. Yeah, the original probability they gave us with a denominator of 3, or 5 would fit into 20, right? But Sophia said 3 can't become 20, right? The probability they gave us, it can't nicely, right? So if gravity works, if we were to make 3 20,
Clark Cummings, please come to the Perry office. Clark Cummings, to the Perry office.
this would be 6 point something. This would be not a whole number. Can I have a partial amount of candy? I mean, I shouldn't. Don't trust partial. If you go trick-or-treating and you get partial candy, you should not trust it. Right? So this point, whatever, is probably poison. Okay, that's not. Shouldn't joke about poisoning candy, but seriously, let your parents check your candy. The world's a weird place. You need to put that in your backpack. You need to put that in your backpack. You need to stuff that under the that's right there. Wash your hands. All right, I still have a couple minutes, right? All right, squiggly line across your paper. However you're splitting your paper to do the next problem.
Diagonal fine.
Well, it seemed like there were some important conversations going on that I needed to let finish up. So Lyle asked for a challenge. You know, Lyle's always trying a weird flex, which is okay. If we're good at math, might as well. There's a 2/7 chance of picking a red. You should write that down. Like P of red. Thanks, Smartboard. You're awesome.
Really after the
Well, now it's switching back to, instead of pen, now it's switching to cursor. So then it just moves things around instead of writing evilly. Yep, like right there, it switched to cursor for a second. So P of red is 2/7. Probability of red or blue. Wait.
That's your automatic response.
Probability of red or blue. Wait, do we know the probability of blue?
No.
So we know the probability of red. We know the probability of red or blue. It's up to you to figure out what's the probability of blue. And if there's only one other color in the bag, what's its probability? Have at it. You can, if you want, read this stuff. You don't have to, though, because it might box in your ideas. So you can read these suggestions. You can read these or not. I don't care. I'm going to rewrite these probabilities down on the screen lower.
If the board lets you.
Yeah, maybe.
And then you talk. You need to scroll up and move your head.
Oh, I thought you just wanted me to move.
No, not the dancing way. Gotta move it.
All you need is 2/7 and 2/3. 2/7 and 2/3. 2/7 and 2/3. 2/7 and 2/3.
Move the coconuts on top of your back.
Does Zoe Comer please come to the Perry office? Zoe?
Was Mr. Asking? And then you can never find him. This is the best, this one, the east, this is the west, this is the... Hey, make sure you're doing the math. You can't make this like you don't know math. Okay? Yeah, funny thing though, that's real. That like really was a thing I got made fun of for. Alright, so probability of blue or red is 2/3. Now, Ava, you are totally fine to pass because I asked this question poorly earlier today. Don't know if I'm going to be able to ask it better right now. When we have or situations, and we know that actually makes things like easier.
Should Lacey Abbott and Charlotte Agnes please come to the Perry office? Thank you.
How did we get the or? What math did we do? What did we do here? What do we do? The or back. Or on your homework that we just checked. An or. Well, yeah, but we add, right? We add two probabilities together. So you're right, we do common denominator, but we add. So guys, or, this is weird for people. Or, hey, I'm losing some of you, and this is going to be on your test this week, or next week. Sorry, this is not on this week's test. I don't want to freak anyone out. This is blue plus red. Funky. Everything I disconnected this morning, I think I just need to reconnect it, restart it. And we know what red is, right? We know red is 2 7. We don't know what blue is. Should we rewrite this? Chloe? Okay. Then save it for a moment. Should we rewrite this? Yeah. Right? Daniel, what do I want to do with this?
Times the 2 scores by 7 over.
And that gets 14 21st. So we know these, when they add up, are going to get 14 21st. Crap, wait, so then I should probably rewrite the 2 7s. Right? So let's, instead of using 2 7s, guys, what I'm going to multiply 2 7s by? 3 over 3. Which really makes it 6 21st. So guys, we could subtract to figure out what we're missing. Or some people, like I don't know how good you are. I'm only so good. Some people can just think in their head and say, well, if this is something 21sts, and this is something 21st, and they know what number's missing. I don't, right? I'm not that good. So I have to think through, well, if I'm trying to figure out this, I need to get rid of this. So if we get rid of 6 21sts, we really like minus it, right? What's 14 minus 6? 8. So this must be 8 21sts. Is there another color? Stella?
Yeah, there is another color because
You're good.
because there's 20, 21 in the middle, and we have 121.
Yeah, I love what Stella said. There has to be the same numerator as denominator. There has to be 21 21sts, or however we say that denominator. And right now, we only have 14. There's got to be a third color, or maybe a fourth, or maybe a fifth. I know. Maybe a fourth, but there's got to be more, right? There needs to be 7 21sts more. Chloe?
You have to add 6 21st.
7, actually. I think it's 7.
Well, you have to add the 6 that you multiplied.
Oh, this is in the 14. So remember, that's in our 14. Because that 6 came from the red. This 14 21st is red and blue together. Because it's not written in front of you, you're probably getting mixed up with stuff. It's all good. Don't worry about it. I bet you can do this in the 2 minutes that is left. What's the missing value of this spinner? 1/3, 1/6, and 2/5. Put your mask on. Do we need to go, like, call your parents and get a new mask or something? Like, if I have to ask you again, we get to. It's what? Sweet. Well, then you have no excuse for wearing it wrong. Glad I know that now, so I should never have to talk to you about your mask again. Do you think I wouldn't rather be mask off up here? Of course I would. I have to talk all day. Keep your flipping mask on. Yeah, I said flipping because I'm getting mad. I didn't say frickin'. No, I'm better than that. Well, I did now on the...
No, I did now. I was talking completely and I remember something else.
Yeah, guys, I don't know if, like... I know, like, we've talked plenty about this in here, but literally, I was standing there as Perry kids walked by, and I boxed them out till they put their masks on. Like, I wouldn't let this kid cross. Like, I'm serious. I'm not playing games with this. What's the missing section?
I don't know. 1/5.
Ooh, a couple of people think 1/5. What could a common denominator be here? 30th. So this would be 10/30ths. This would be 12/30ths. This would be 5/30ths, meaning we're missing 3/30ths. So if that is right, it's 1/10. If that's right, if our math is right. I think it's right. We'll pick up here tomorrow. Have a great day.
Your extensions class, but can I go put this away?
Absolutely. You have a couple minutes of transition time.
I feel bad with my I know, they're so big. I know. Small.
I didn't even know. No, I didn't know until they are
Trying to do riddles
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, especially, like, what normally happens during extensions is I'm so busy doing math with people, that has to take priority. So if people are needing math help, we can't do riddles. Oh, I should probably stop recording.